Bryan Lacey here, and I've got an exciting interview. We found out the news Felipe Lima was coming out of the title fight with Jonas Magard, which left the Shark without a dance partner. Now we have a world-class opponent to face him, making his 29th professional walk and his debut here on Octagon Hype. Let's welcome Josh Hill. Gentleman Josh Hill, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well because I am super excited about this fight. You've talked about Octagon for quite a while. I saw it on socials. You were supposed to fight for us in 2017. Is that right?
Yeah, I was going to actually. I was fighting in Russia at the time, and then I think I ended up. I can't remember what happened, but the timing just didn't work out. But yeah, I was looking forward to it. It just didn't happen, but it's happening now. So that's uh,
It's ha-
that's awesome.
it's happening now, man. It's just a few weeks away. Just give us the way that this kind of came about, because obviously Felipe Lima came out of the title fight. We were looking for a bantamweight. How quickly did you get the call, and kind of what was the process to get in and finally signing with Octagon?
So originally they were thinking they wanted me to fight in September, and I was telling my manager like, I want to fight ASAP. I'm getting old, man. I got to get these fights in, right? So I don't want to be sitting around waiting around. And I haven't fought since August of last year, so it's been a long time. So yeah, and then I saw that the champ pulled out, and so I was wondering like, they got to put somebody in there. I wonder what they'll do. So I just said, is that a possibility? Or I said, is somebody else available? Like, what's going to happen with this? And then they told me it'd probably be unlikely at first, and then my manager sent me a text, said, yeah, you can fill in, and then I asked for it to be a title fight, but they said no, it's a non-title fight.
Okay, that's interesting. But did you know about Jonas beforehand? Is this like, have you had your eye on the division? Have you looked at like Felipe Lima, Jonas Magard, Jack Cartwright, those type of guys?
Yeah, I just looked at like their I don't know, 5 or 6 guys on the roster at the top there, and he was just one of the names there, and I know that those top end guys are good fighters. They're well rounded, and but yeah, it was. I didn't really care, to be honest, who it was. I just wanted to get a fight. Put me in there, man. I just don't want to sit around waiting around anymore.
It's going to be your 29th fight. Has that kind of snuck up on you? Like, that's a long storied career. You've flown around the world. I know you've beaten up Russians, you've beaten up the English, the Irish, you've beaten up Americans. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this being number 29, and what's your vision? Is this where you kind of want to see your career out, or are you looking to I don't know, what is the vision?
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting old. It's been around. I've been around a long time now. I feel good though. I don't know. When I'm training, I'm still putting it on a lot of these young guys, these up and comers, and I feel good in the gym. So until the day that I don't feel good anymore, or I feel like they've surpassed me, then I'm like, okay, it's time. But yeah, man, I want to get some fights, and I want to go to cool places like this, like how Octagon does, and fight in front of awesome crowds, and experience different cities and things like that. And yeah, like I would love it if I could uh, finish, be like my last chapter of my career here, and fight to get to the title and get the title, and then see the rest of my career out here. That'd be cool. I think, yeah, that'd be a great way to do it.
Um, what have you watched as far as Octagon there? I mean, you talk about the big crowds and the shows. This is a very special show, by the way. This is the summer party. So it's
Yeah,
an
I don't.
open air. Go on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it looks cool, but like, what does that mean? What is this? What am I going to here?
Yeah, exactly. Just bring your swimming shorts, Josh. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
So this
Nice.
one again, it's in Slovakia, which is one of the bases. Czech Republic and Slovakia is where the sort of the birth of Octagon came, and the crowds are wild. And in the summer, we've now set this thing so the arena will be set in a certain way, so it'll feel like a beach party. There's a little
Nice.
everyone who comes dressed in beachwear and ready to enjoy the sun will get a little gift from Octagon as well. There's special little treat in the middle of the show as well that people can enjoy. So it's very different, and I'm always excited for fighters to experience our crowds for the first time. Because have you watched the shows? Did you watch the stadium show? Have you had your eye on us and the sort of venues we're doing for a while?
Yeah, man, that was the one thing that drew me to Octagon was like just the production of their shows and how cool they look and the crowds and they just it seems like they're doing something different, right? Than a lot of just the regular big promotions. So that was something that always drew me to wanting to come over there. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm more excited now about what you're saying about the summer party thing. That's cool.
It's going to be very cool. It's going to be very different. And again, it'll be the atmosphere that I know you fought around the world in big stadiums already, but it's always my favorite thing when I speak to fighters after the event and they're like, man, the crowd, man, it's always about the crowd. So I'm excited for them to feel what you're like in the cage and for you to get that taste as well. What has been the response from the Octagon fans? Have you had any messages or DMs as far as, joining the promotion?
Just nothing but positive things, to be honest. Yeah, everybody's been really cool, and you can tell that they got a big fan base, that's for sure. And the European fan base is so, they love it. You can tell, and it's a lot. I think it's. I mean, I'll experience it once I'm there, but I think it's a lot different than the North American crowd. You know what I mean? And in a better way, I think.
It's great. I can't wait for you to feel it. Listen, you've got a big fight as well. Jonas Magard is well established in the promotion. Former champion, was looking for the rematch against Lima to get his revenge there. Again, a tough test. What's your thoughts on Jonas, and what have you seen as far as the tape you've watched so far?
He's good. He's good, man. He's had a bunch of fights now. Like you said, he was a champ. I think he's very like aggressive, confident in himself. Gets a little bit wild sometimes in there. And it seems like he uses some strategy depending on who he's fighting. I saw in his fight with the Englishman,
Cartwright.
Cartwright.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so using his wrestling and grinding a bit more. So yeah, that's what I think makes this fight interesting. I think is I'm the same way. I'm very cerebral in there, and I don't just do the same thing to every fighter. I'm gonna take them where I feel I'm better, right? Or I'm gonna try to expose them. So yeah, that makes this fight exciting. He brings it, and I do like guys that bring it. I think that brings the best out of me. I think I fight, to my potential when somebody's putting it and coming forward and trying to get me out of there. It makes me makes me go, man.
Another thing that he does sometimes, I don't know if any of this has happened. Usually, I know with Lima there was a relationship, and even with Cartwright there was some history. He's sometimes online and in DMs and stuff. Have you had any messages from Jonas? Has there been anything going on? Is there any mind games kicking off from the start?
Not yet, no. But I mean, if that's what happens, that's all good with me, dude. You know what I mean? I don't. A lot of guys start to take it personally and think, but I just find it kind of funny. You know what I mean? And if he does it, I'll go along with it, sure. But like, it doesn't like get under my skin and make me, fight emotionally. Either way, I'm good.
You talk about watching some of the tape, and I know you said you're cerebral in the cage, so you've got the ability with the experience to make adjustments or to feel where the fight should go. But just from the outside and watching what you've seen, where do you think your strengths are, or more to the point, where do you think you've got to be more aware of what Jonas brings?
Um, I see myself like I see things very, very well, and so I could see myself, being able to find openings on the feet. I think my wrestling and grappling, I think it's, I think I know I am world class everywhere, to be honest. But like, yeah, I think my wrestling and grappling. I don't think he's ever faced a guy with my wrestling and grappling capabilities and my athleticism. Putting those together. So that's, I think where I give a lot of people troubles, and yeah, I don't see any different here.
The experience as well. This will be your 29th fight. As I hate to keep reminding you, 29 fights in the cage, but it's exciting as well, and it's at the top level. Do you think experience plays a factor in your, from your perspective? Do you think facing all those different styles and being in enemy territory in places like Russia and feeling different styles of combat, do you think that is also a big asset that you bring to this?
For sure, yeah, 100% experience helps, man. The more things you see thrown at you, the more shit you go through, wins and losses. It helps you for sure. You just it's not it's familiar to you now. It's not uncomfortable anymore because they've been in those situations a bunch of times. So Yeah, I 100% think my experience helps me definitely.
I saw something, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but and you're coming to a country where hockey is huge. So Slovakia is massive. Czech Republic just won the World Cup, and one of the most, fantastic moments for the country. That was where you started, right? You were a hockey player, and you just kind of fell into
Right.
beating the shit out of people, right? Is that the truth?
Yeah, I've been playing hockey, man, since I'm Canadian, right? So other than those European countries, Canada's the top notch place for hockey, man. So I've been playing since I was 3, and I played junior for years, and yeah, I went right from junior hockey, and I needed something to fill that void. I needed that competition, and basically, you know, I missed the contact in hockey. I needed to hit somebody, as bad as that sounds. I switched. I just found MMA kind of randomly, and I was like, oh, this. I love watching it. I think I'd be pretty good. Been in, a bunch of tussles in my day, and so yeah, I started training and fell in love with it, man. And then I think I don't know, about a year and a half later, about that, I just jumped right into pro. Got my first pro fight. Didn't have any amateur fights. Just started fighting.
Just went for it. What do you think you would be doing now if you hadn't found martial arts? I know you look for like competition, and that obviously is part of who you are and things. But like, where would you be with like? And also, how grateful are you for the journey that this has taken you on? Because it's an insane career you've had already, and I'm sure there's highs, there's lows, but that in between all of it, it is a mad existence and a beautiful life, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been great, and I'm happy that I did it. I know so many people, that have done better than me in my career. Like they've gone to further lengths and bigger fights, and then I know way more people that have fizzled out and quit or didn't work out or weren't as successful. So I'm happy that I continued and stuck with it, and I'm still going. So I definitely for the last 15 years have followed like my passion, what I love to do. And if I wasn't doing this right now, I would probably be a full-time firefighter, because that's originally what I went to school for, and that's what I was going to become. And I was trying to get in, and then MMA kind of like just took over, and I got really into that, and I put all my focus more so into that, and running a gym and things like that. So, if I wasn't, a pro MMA fighter, I'd be fighting fires.
That's cool. My best friend's a firefighter. He's been in it for like 35 years. That's a crazy existence as well. That is like stepping into crazy fights all the time.
Right.
But it takes a certain type of person. But that's cool because sometimes the answer is I'll just be in prison. That's me. That's it. But
I think,
no,
yeah. No, I think I'm smart enough to keep myself out, or I try to anyway.
that's cool. That's very cool. What's life like outside the cage? So what's the business you've got, and who's the people you got around you while you do this crazy thing?
I have a 14-year-old stepson, and I have my 5-year-old daughter. And they're, especially my daughter. She's the handful. You know what I mean? Takes up all my time. So yeah, dad life, family life, outside of the cage, and then I run the athletic center at a college out here, where I'm from. So I do that as well, and I teach as well at some of the gyms that I train at. So I'm constantly busy, and then training, of course,
And
right? So
training, and then fighting, and then
then
traveling
fighting,
back.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I work with athletes as well, on their mental performance. That was something earlier in my career I struggled with quite a bit, and I went back to school for sports psychology and learned a lot about that. And so I've probably had about 30 or so clients, that are all different sports, that I've kind of helped out and discussed things with a lot of fighters. And yeah, that's something I do on the side as well too. So
that's
I like
amazing.
doing that.
And what again, if you're working with, and it's a massive part of the game. Every time I speak to fighters, they tell me like it's 10% physical, 90% mental. It's
Yeah.
that's the true fight, like getting over the mental side. What if with working through with all these different people from different sports and backgrounds, what's the consistent sort of hurdle? What is the thing that you have to help people get over the most, and what's helped you the most, I suppose, mentally to get to where you've come?
Probably like performance anxiety and the fear of failure. People are just so worried of outside factors. And most of the time it's pretty simple to bring it back down to what you can control, right? And focusing on those things. And having one thing I do a lot of people is having like a what if type thing. So think of worst case scenario in whatever your sport you're thinking of, and then what would you do if that happened? And then once you kind of desensitize yourself to that and you accept that, then usually the worst thing doesn't happen ever. And you can kind of be a little bit more free and flowing. So that's just one thing, but that just came off the top of my head there. But there's so many little things you can talk about and give them like some little tactics and tricks to kind of like, remind themselves or to work on, because yeah, man, the mind is the major thing. And I think it was, I want to say Farhad Zahabi said it, but I'm not sure. But I think he said like when you're outside of at the start of training camp, it's like 90% physical, 10% mental, and then it shifts. And then when it's fight time, it's 10% mental, 90% mental, 10% physical. So, and I agree with that. I think it's very much so.
I love it. I might have to link you up with my wife when we're going traveling, because she gets travel anxiety. Not about the plane crashing, but the worst case scenario for checking in. What if we're late? If we can't find the car park? So it all becomes stressful. Nothing happens. We get there, we get in. So I'm setting you up with my wife in the nicest possible way once when we book a holiday next year, please.
Right on.
You mentioned Firas there, and again, coming from Canada, I know you spent some time there, right? TriStar.
I've only ever been there once to train, actually. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So what was that like with Firas? Did you get any time with GSP as well? What's that? What's that like?
Coincidentally enough, I've never trained with Faraz. I've met him and see him all the time at shows, and say hello, how you doing, man? I've only trained at TriStar one time, and the one time I did go, it was GSP that was coaching that day. So it was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm like, oh, sweet,
More
awesome.
than pretty cool. That's
I picked a good day.
what was he training? Wrestling or handstands? Because he does a lot of that now, right?
Right.
He's very good at
the
that.
splits. Yeah, he was grappling, actually. It was a grappling class. So yeah, it was fun.
What was the one little takeaway from that? Was there like a nugget or a gem from that one session where you went, wow, that's
yeah, it was probably, I remember it well because I was looking, it was George, right? But like, yeah, just the details and how open and easygoing he is, and that I like. And he comes into coach just like anybody else. You know what I mean? It's not like a big superstar. It's just he's just there to do that. He wants to train and teach, and that's cool, right?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I read another interesting thing about your background and even your nickname. Your great uncle, tell me if I'm right. Great uncle was not just in the WWE, or which used to be the WWF, but he was tag team champion, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that correct?
You got it.
That is mad. I absolutely. So how come you're not in the WWE? Listen, I know that it's kind of like a family business. If you look at The Rock and you look at all these Bret Hart and all those guys.
I'm too short, man. I didn't get the height here, dude.
How tall was your great uncle?
Right. He was the biggest one from the hillside. I think he was like, he wasn't huge, but I think probably like 6'2". I know he was a big man. Yeah.
Pretty big.
Yeah, but my mom's side's a lot shorter, so I got my mom's height, unfortunately.
There you go. Oh, fortunately. So how did the name come about then? Because it's Gentleman Josh, right? It's not Josh the Gentleman.
Yeah, right? Like his real name was John Hill. But he had a bunch of different gimmicks over the years, mostly in like the 60s, 70s, like was his heyday. Yeah. But his probably most famous one was Gentleman Jerry Valiant.
Okay.
And he was part of the Valiant Brothers, and they were the tag team champs at one point. Yeah. So, and that's why, I think it was my uncle or my grandpa at the time. Like, you should go as, Gentleman Josh Hill, carry it on. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And it stuck, man. Yeah. But yeah, he wrestled like, he wrestled against Hogan, he wrestled against Flair and Iron Sheik and Tito Santana, and like a lot of big names.
Era ever of WWE, right? The big names and the rock stars, and
right.
And in that day as well, right? That's wrestling hurt in those days. It still does now. Definitely understand that, but
yeah,
that was a brutal little. That's amazing. Were you ever tempted to even think about going that way, or is it hockey all the way?
You know what? It's funny. I did one pro wrestling match.
You've done it.
I did it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, my longtime childhood friend is a pro wrestler, and I've always been a fan. Like, I've always loved it, right? And I was just coming off the Ultimate Fighter, and he had a local show, and he's like, and I was like, oh man, what? And I'm gonna come watch. And he goes, can I like work you into the show? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, can I talk some shit to you and like bring you in the ring? I'm like, all right. So we worked up this rivalry, and he like low blowed me and whatnot. And, like we just made this thing, and then we made a match out of it. We like set a date, and like I was training for it and everything, and then yeah, we had a full on match. And his like finisher was like you got to smash somebody over the head with a keyboard because he was like the hacker.
Okay.
So I got to smash him over the head with a keyboard, and then the finish was a rear naked choke, and he was supposed to tap out. And so I put him in the choke, and like we fell down, and I'm sitting there, and he wasn't tapping, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I just kind of sit there, and all of a sudden he's snoring, he's out.
And this is your friend, right?
There's my buddy. I'm like, oh shit, he's out.
Yeah, guys, the first bit of real fighting in the. Oh my god, that's awesome! That is absolutely awesome. Look, I'm so excited you've joined Octagon. I also love this match, man. I think this is, it's great for Octagon because it's a big name coming. It's great for Jonas as well. Like a legit fighter coming in to fight him in Slovakia. For people that have never seen you, never experienced you, what can Octagon expect for their first taste of Josh Hill?
You're gonna see, a well-rounded fighter in there that's trying to solve a problem that's in front of him. I'm a very, like I said, cerebral fighter. I like to, I'm not just out there throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm looking to snipe, and I'm looking to pick shots. I'm looking to set traps. And I think you're going to see a lot of athleticism. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I do really well. I'm very explosive, very fast, and I hit hard. So I'm going for that knockout. Knockout or submission, whatever comes first. But yeah, I want to put on a good show for them for sure.
Listen, and you'll enjoy the show. I know you will. This is going to be special. It's going to be like a unique moment in your career. And as a first taste of Octagon, to be in front of the Slovakian fans, I feel like it's very special indeed. So I hope you enjoy it. I will see you in Slovakia. I'll be out there from the Thursday,
Awesome.
so I'll catch up with you there. But yeah, Josh, thank you so much for the time. And enjoy the rest of the camp. Stay safe, all right?
Yes, yeah,
No,
for sure. Thank you.
no smashing keyboards. And if you get a call from my wife, it's absolutely fine, Josh. Answer it, okay?
Right on, man.
You're a
Awesome.
legend. All right, speak to you soon. Take care.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. Bye. Gentleman Josh Hill there. That is so exciting. July 20th, that goes down at the summer party that is in Octagon in Slovakia at the Peugeot Arena. Him taking on Jonas Magard. So we will see you. We'll see you in Slovakia. Take care.